What if you could turn yourself into a business in 30 days or less? I'm talking about a genuine business. I'm not talking about a scheme, no ploy, no business model. I'm not talking about affiliate marketing, OnlyFans management. I'm talking about a skill that you have, a high income skill that you can find someone that you can sell it to, you can create an offer around it, and you can actually sell it. I'm talking about a business that has longevity, a business that you can scale however far you want depending on your ambitions. What if you could do that within 30 days? That'd be pretty fucking cool, right? And it'd be pretty impressive as well. And I'm not saying by guarantee you can, but in this video, I'm going to give you the complete roadmap of how you potentially could turn yourself into a business in 30 days or less. I'm going to give you date stamps of what you need to do on what day in order to actually progress. It's going to be pretty intense. It's going to be pretty ridiculous. It might sound quite ridiculous because of the fact that building a business in 30 days or less is pretty mental. But I'm going to give you the game plan that you'll need to do or you'll need to take on board if you want to do it. And I don't say this lightly. I genuinely speak from experience. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Callum and I help people turn their skills into a business literally for a living. And not even 3 months ago now, I did a challenge at the start of the year where I actually speed ran from nothing to $10,000 with a random high income skill using the same framework that I'm about to show you. And I completed that challenge in 56 days from nothing to $10,000. In fact, I documented the entire process on my channel. It's like a 2-hour video that you can go and watch after this one if you want. And I'm going to condense what I learned, what I did, and how I did it into a 30-day process I'm going to run you through. So no more waffle, no more intro. Let me tell you exactly how you can turn yourself into a business in 30 days or less. Now, from day 1 to day 5, this is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to do 4 things. Firstly, you're going to identify a high income skill because your high income skill is the vehicle behind your business. It's the actual thing that you can sell to somebody that allows them to deliver or have a transformation that you can actually deliver. Your high income skill is everything. It's the foundation. It's like the epicenter. It's the nucleus of your business. So you want to make sure that you pay good attention to this and you actually develop a high income skill that is worth a decent amount of money. The second thing you're going to do is identify a market. You're going to actually just find someone that you can actually sell that high income skill to. Okay, the market that needs it, the market that wants it, the market that will pay the most amount of money for it because they see the most amount of value in it. The third thing you're going to do is you're going to build out an offer. You're going to build out an offer around your service because, or actually your skill, because at the moment you just have a skill and you have someone who may need the skill. In order to actually turn it into a service, you need to create an offer, which is basically how you will help someone achieve the transformation that they actually want to achieve. Okay, and the fourth thing you're going to do is you're going to price your service. You're actually going to put a figure on what it's worth to somebody else, and depending on what price you put on it will depend on how much value you can actually achieve for them. Because if you're going to sell the service of social media management to a restaurant, you're not going to be able to charge as high as if you were going to run Facebook ads for a tech startup, right? And that's quite obvious because the value you're actually able to deliver to that person is completely different. So let me show you how to actually do the first thing. Find a high income skill. Now, I could just give you 5 high income skills that you can choose between, but that's not the point. When I say learn a high income skill, I'm not talking about just pick one out of the hat and go ahead with that. I'm talking about find one that means something to you. I'm talking about finding your unfair advantage, something that gives you a step ahead, gives you kind of like a head start to turn into a business, because there is no point in you just picking one out of a hat because you're in the same level playing field as everybody else. There's nothing different about you to someone I just pulled off the street who's chosen the same high income skill. So I'd always start off with something you have an advantage in, something you have a uniqueness towards. Maybe you're interested in it, maybe you're experienced, maybe you're passionate about it. Now, if you're really not sure what that high income skill is, I do have a resource that I'm going to give you. A few weeks ago, I built out a ChatGPT model that is literally designed to help you identify your high income skill. I basically took it, I fed it a bunch of my course material and my information and trained it. I say trained it, it's pretty smart already, but I basically directed it to do nothing but help people identify their high income skill. So this model can basically talk to you. It will ask you questions. It will ask you about your hobbies, your interests, what you're passionate about, and it will keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper until it can find your bespoke high income skill that actually means something to you. So if you want that ChatGPT tool, I'm not going to link it in the description below, but what I am going to do is you can DM me the word AI on Instagram. Just shoot me over a DM on Instagram saying AI, and I'll send you over the link there. And that will basically allow you to have a chat with it, discuss things with it, talk about your hobbies, your passion, your interests, what you're experiencing, and it will also give you ideas on what those high income skills can be. And by the end of your conversation, it can take 15 minutes. You'll actually have a high income skill that you can talk to it about and that you can actually go ahead with. So if you don't actually have a high income skill, you can't think of one, that's the best way you're going to be able to learn one. Have a chat with that AI model that's linked over on my Instagram, and I promise you'll leave that conversation with a clear idea of what your high income skill is. That's number 1, finding the skill. Number 2, finding the market is all about logic, right? It's all about thinking logistically about what market values your high income skill, what market needs it. I'm not just talking about a want. I'm not talking about a nicety where it's like, oh, a restaurant would say, cool, I'm social media management, sure thing, why not? I'm talking about the market that cannot live without your high income skill. If you're a website builder, for example, don't go and build websites for your local coffee shop. They don't need a website. It'd be nice for them to have a website, but they don't need one. The people that do need a website are like e-commerce stores, for example, because they can't actually run a business without a website, right? Agencies, they can't run a business without a website. So you want to pick a market that needs your skill and will therefore pay you a lot of money for your skill, okay? The good thing is actually that the ChatGPT model that I'm talking about will actually also help you identify the market that your skill is perfect with. So after it helps you identify your skill, it will then give you some suggestions on the perfect market that will kind of combine with that skill and link with it perfectly to actually help you get started there. So that will be step 1 and step 2. And now, honestly, you can do all of these 4 things in like 1 or 2 days if you wanted to. I've given you 5 days to do it because these are the foundations of your business. These are like priority number 1. You cannot mess up with this because if you don't choose a proper skill, if you don't choose the right market, if you don't create a proper offer, nothing else matters. When we start talking about the outreach and the plan to market, won't matter if you don't have the foundations built properly. The third thing is the offer, of course, right? And this is, again, how are you going to help somebody achieve a transformation? Where are you taking them from and taking them to? What is going to be different about their life, about their business as a result of having your service? A transformation has taken somebody from fat to fit. It's taken somebody from having no clients to lots of clients. It's taken somebody from being broke to being rich. Your service, your skill has to create a transformation. And that's how you basically build it into an offer where it actually creates a transformation. So it's the kind of idea of you saying, hey, I will do this, this, and this for you. This is my service. This is my offering. There's also a template I'll chuck up on screen now that you can use to actually build out your offer, which is your elevator pitch, which will help you kind of fill in the gaps and actually create an offer. But nonetheless, you want to create an offer for your service. You don't have an offer, nothing else matters. You have nothing. You have a skill. Cool. So does 99% of the population. Create a service, create a transformation. And just to kind of double down on that point, your skill could be copywriting, for example, right? Literally writing persuasive text. But your service could be ghostwriting. Your service could be email marketing. Your service could be blog writing. There's different ways that you can sell a skill. So identifying a service is super, super important to actually make sure that skill means something. And the fourth thing is your price. What is the price you're actually going to put on your service that's actually going to make sure that they're able to pay you that amount of money and that you can scale faster with fewer clients, because that's the priority. Now, like I said before, pricing is completely determined on the value that you're able to provide. So if you want to increase your price, you need to make sure that the value you can provide to someone surpasses the amount that you're charging. Again, if you've got a service and you guaranteed with that service can make a company $10,000, amazing. You can charge $2,000, $3,000 of that. But if you can't make a company $10,000, you cannot charge $2,000, $3,000, right? So if you want to make more money, this is your money that you'll make, and this is the value that you provide. It needs to be like that, because you will not pay for something in which you're not getting more in value than in which you're paying for it, right? Same thing goes for companies. So that is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. That will take you between day 1 and day 5 to do. Skill, market, offer, price. In terms of the offer and the price, how you figure it out, do some research. Like, that's your literal best bet. I've got lots of videos on my channel. In fact, I've got a video on my channel that I uploaded before this video of how to actually build out a $20,000 per month offer. And I've got plenty of videos on my channel of how to sort out your pricing. So take a look, dive in, day 1 to day 5, tick. Done. Happy days. And of course, just to kind of tee off, you got to learn the skill as well. Spend day 1 to day 5 actually learning the skill and improving at the skill. If it's a brand new skill that you haven't actually learned before, that is priority number 1, most definitely above anything else. If you can't actually get good at the service that you want to sell, there's no point in selling the service in the first place. So get good at it. Now, the next milestone that we're going to cover is day 5 to day 10. I'm going to kind of do it in like 5 to 10 day increments because I think that gives you enough time to actually complete the task. Now, in day 5 to day 10, what you're going to be doing is, number 1, starting content creation, right? You're going to start a personal brand. I don't want to hear any whining. I don't want to hear anybody go, oh, but I don't want to put my face out on the internet. Listen, if you want to start a business in 30 days or less, you've got to go all out. You've got to go balls to the walls. You've got to drop these limiting beliefs around like creating content and putting yourself out there. There is no way around it. Start creating content, okay? That is priority number 2, after obviously learning your skill, your market, your offer, your pricing. You've got to start content creation, not only for the case of actually generating leads through content creation, but also for social proof, okay? Because if you're going to do outreach, which you are inevitably going to do, having content to back up your outreach and having a personal brand where you can display your skill set and talk about what you're passionate about and talk about how you help people allows you to actually get 10 times the amount out of outreach than someone would who isn't creating content, okay? So start creating content. I have another video on my channel that talks about the best outreach method of like 2025 or whatever I called it. And that's all about creating content. So it's well worth going and diving into that video, but you must start creating content, okay? A post a day, 2 posts a day. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but to be honest, again, if you want to monetize yourself and turn yourself into a business in 30 days, you have to go pretty crazy with it. You have to be posting at minimum once a day, because we don't have 3 months to do it here, because obviously we're minimizing it down to 30 days. The second thing you're going to want to do from day 5 to day 10 is actually start generating leads, okay? So generate prospects, lists of your market that you want to inevitably reach out to. So if day 1 to 5, you would have identified your market, who you actually want to work with. In day 5 to 10, it's all about gathering data of examples of that market. So generating leads, right? Again, if your target market is, I don't know, coaches, fitness coaches, then day 5 to 10 should be spent generating as many fitness coaches as you possibly can that fit into the criteria that you want to work with, and getting them in a massive list in which you can then reach out to them. You want to do lead generation, and there's loads of different things. There's different ways you can do lead generation. You can use tools like the Upwork method, which is paying a freelancer to generate these leads for you. You can use tools like ListKit, like Apollo. You can use tools like PandaMatch. It doesn't really matter. Use softwares, use other people. You want to generate leads at mass and at scale. And considering that we're trying to build a business in 30 days or less here, you can't go half-assed with this. When I say generate leads, I'm not talking about 10, 15 people that you want to reach out to. I'm talking about 1 to 5,000 people that you want to reach out to, because we don't have time to nurture these people and warm them up like you typically would if you were building a business in, let's say, 120 days. You got to go hard. You got to reach out to a lot of people in a very short amount of time. And in doing so, you want to make sure that you have a lot of people to reach out to, okay? Starting content will also allow you to back your outreach. So when you outreach to someone, you can say, hey, take a look at my Instagram. I'm making content around XYZ. Or let's say that you're reaching out to fitness coaches. You can DM them on Instagram, and they're going to see your Instagram profile in which they're going to see what you're talking about. They're going to see what's your profession and what you're good at and what you're passionate about. And that allows you to actually get responses far better than people who are just doing normal DM outreach, okay? The next thing you want to do from day 5 to 10 is you want to build a basic website. And I know this is quite tedious. It's like, Jesus, who wants to build a website? But you've kind of just got to do it. There's no way around it. If you want to get clients, they will go to your website, I promise you. And you don't have to have an amazing website, you don't have to have a perfect one, but I would recommend you have some kind of website, because if you're doing outreach to someone and they look up your website, or they look up your domain and you don't actually see a website, that's a red flag. And you don't want people to have red flags when it comes to deciding whether they want to work with you or not, because that makes it harder for you. And that's not what you want. It's not ideal. So build a basic website. You can use a platform like Card. You can use a platform like Squarespace. You can use a platform like Hostinger. It doesn't matter. Have it existing. Have it half decent. Do some research into how to build a website and build one. That will probably take you less than a day, and therefore you'll have that completed. You'll have it done. And the next thing you want to do on day 5 to 10 is you want to set up your outreach systems, okay? And what I mean by this is that when it comes to outreach, personally, if you're just starting a business, you want to do it in 30 days, I would focus on email outreach. I think it's your best plan to market, especially since you can't be really creative, you can't be custom, you can't play the long-term game of like reaching out to people over a long period of time. You've got to be pretty crazy with it. You've got to be pretty specific with it. So setting up your outreach systems is doing things like warming up your emails, because you can't go from sending out no emails to sending out 5,000 emails. You've got to warm it up over time so that Gmail and the other inboxes see your account as legit, and therefore that's going to take a little bit of time. There's loads of tutorials online of how you actually do that, how you warm up your emails, but you've got to make sure you do it. There's no way around it. Build out your outreach systems, get them set up, get them ready, okay? And at the same time of doing all of those things, you've also got to continuously learn your skill. All right, I'm going to keep saying this throughout the entire process of trying to turn yourself into a business in 30 days. You've got to keep learning the skill, keep improving at it. It probably takes about 2 weeks roughly to get decently competent at a skill to the point of where you can sell it. So you've got to make sure you're spending all those 2 weeks, dive in head first into learning that skill. But that's what you're going to do in day 5 to 10. Number 1, start content creation. Start posting once a day. Talk about the skill that you're learning. Talk about how you can help people. Give out examples. Give out value throughout your content. Number 2, set up your lead generation systems. Get leads, or don't even set up the systems. Start generating leads. Okay, start generating a mass amount of people that you can reach out to. Number 3, build a basic website, something that exists. You want some kind of real estate online. You want to have something online that people can look at. And number 4, set up your outreach systems. Make sure they're ready to go by day 10, because that's when we're going to start doing outreach. And then we move on to day 10 to day 20. And this is where it gets exciting. This is where it gets interesting. From day 10 to day 20, you're going to be doing a few different things. Outreach is number 1, priority number 1. Posting content, you're going to continuously do that from day 5 or day 10, from day 5 all the way until the end of the 30 days. Let's say you're going to continuously post content every single day, a new video, a new post, whether it's Twitter, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, it doesn't matter. You're going to post content wherever your target market is. So pick the platform that suits you best. Outreach, you're going to start your outreach. You're going to start making content or keep making content as you go on. You want to have omnipresence, which basically means that you are in as many places as you could possibly be at once. Because if I take person A and person B, and person A is just doing email outreach, just sending an email to different people, and that's quite literally it. And person B is doing email outreach, also has a social media following, is also doing outreach on social media platforms. Person B will win every single time. The reason being is because yes, he's doing more output, but also because he has omnipresence. He's showing up in more places, and people will favor people who show up in more places because it shows that you're putting in more effort and that you're more actually interested in working with someone. If someone reaches out to me and they want to work with me and they just send me an email, missing it. If they send me an email, they send me a DM on Instagram as well. They send me a video that they made or whatever it is. That gives an element of omnipresence. They are everywhere at that point. They're in multiple different places, and I will therefore favor them and actually get back to their message. I'll reply to them. The next thing you want to do in day 10 to day 20 as part of your outreach is actually give an audit offer, which basically means that within your offer, within your outreach, you're not just saying, hey, book in a call with me, let's talk about my service and how I can work with you. You're actually giving an audit offer where it is a free audit where you're basically presenting a bit of value. You're saying to them in the outreach, hey, I would love to take a look at XYZ and give you some tips or some tricks on how you can improve it. So if you're a copywriter and you want to do email marketing, your audit offer would be helping company improve their email marketing. If you want to do personal brand building, your audit offer would be giving some tips or some tricks or some examples of how a certain type of person could improve their personal branding. If it's running Facebook ads, your audit offer is auditing a company's ads or maybe showing them how they can run better ads. Doesn't matter what it is, but you want that to be part of your outreach, because doing outreach where all you're doing is trying to pitch yourself and your services, it's outdated, it's dead, it doesn't really work. People don't really care for it, they're not really interested by it because they know you're just trying to sell them. However, when you offer an audit, you give them something. You say, hey, I want to give you something for free, and all I want in response is a thumbs up, a yes. That's commitment. You've then got commitment from them. Once you've got commitment, you can then continue the conversation and actually end up pitching your service. So you're doing those things. Outreach, still creating content. You're creating omnipresence by creating content and doing outreach at the same time. And you're creating an audit offer where, again, whatever your service is, it's a snapshot of that. If, I don't know, you're a website designer, the audit offer is, hey, I want to dive into your website. I want to point out 5 things that I think you can change. If I find 5 things that you can change, I'll let you know and let's jump on a call and discuss them. Amazing. If someone said that to me, I would go, why not? What do I have to lose? I'm going to find 5 things that can potentially help me improve my website, help me improve conversion rate, and therefore I'll make more money. It's a no-brainer. It's a good audit offer, okay? Now, in terms of your outreach, you're going to want to send out roughly between 1,000 to 5,000 emails within the 30 days. And if you're starting off at day 10 until day 30, it means you've got 20 days to go. You want to send out about 1,000 to 3,000, I think, in those 20 days, emails to different prospects. Okay, that is the minimum. The reason being is because, again, we don't have time. If you're trying to do it in 30 days, you don't have time to mess about. You don't have time to warm people up. You don't have time to build good rapport. You've got to go balls to the walls and reach out to as many people as possible, because it is a quantity game. It's a numbers game, okay? You want to be doing at least 20 LinkedIn DMs a day or 20 Instagram DMs a day. I would even say more if possible. I think LinkedIn does cap your amount of DMs you can do a day to about 20. Instagram doesn't. I think Instagram probably does it about 50. But you want to send as many DMs a day as you possibly can to your prospects. Okay, so roughly, let's say, if you got 20 days, let's say about 2,000 emails a day, which sounds crazy. It is crazy, or not 2,000 emails, sorry, about 200 emails a day. It does sound crazy because it is crazy. You want to do about 20 LinkedIn DMs and as many Instagram DMs as you possibly can. 1 to 2 posts every single day on social media, whatever you're using, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it may be. And you want to go heavy with it, okay? You want to go heavy. You want to literally go balls to the walls, go as extreme as you possibly can, because you don't have time to mess around. You don't have time to fluff about, okay? That is your mission. That is your to-do list from day 10 to day 20. Outreach, post content, build up omnipresence, and give out free audits, okay? Because when people start replying to those audits and they say, you know what, I'll take one. What do I have to lose? That's when you've got a commitment, and that's when you can excel that commitment. You can turn it into something fantastic. And then we move on to day 20 to 30. Now, this is where it gets serious, because this is where the time is ticking, and obviously you're about to come to the end of the turn yourself into a business in 30 days. So There's a lot you got to do here. Well, there's actually not too much that you've got to do, but there's a lot that's going to be going on, okay? First thing is that more outreach. You've got to keep doing outreach. I'm not talking about stopping. You can't let your foot off the gas, especially if you want to achieve such an amazing result in such a short amount of time. Keep doing the outreach. That means sending out the emails, sending the DMs, posting every single day, because typically if you feel like you're struggling to grow your business, just do more of what you're currently doing. Just do more of the marketing. Typically 9 out of 10 times that works out pretty well. The next thing that's going to be happening between day 20 and 30 is ongoing conversations. You're going to start to get responses from your outreach. You're going to have conversations with people where they're going to go, what do you do, you little weirdo? And you're going to obviously have to then explain what you do and all this kind of stuff. That's going to be quite a consistent thing as well, because conversations are going to be going through DMs, they're going to be going through emails, they're going to be going through LinkedIn DMs or Instagram DMs, whatever platform you're using. The next thing that's going to be happening is that you're going to be completing audits, because from day 10 to day 20, obviously you're doing the outreach and you're giving out an audit offer, which means between day 20 and 30, you're going to be completing those audits. You're going to be actually executing on those audits and doing what you've promised. That will take a little bit of time. It won't take too much time depending on what your audit is. Typically, you want to make it kind of as crisp and as simple as possible, but nonetheless, you're going to have to complete the audits, okay? And that's probably going to take you a decent amount of time, and probably a couple hours at a time, but when you get a lot of them, that will start to stack up. The next thing that's going to be happening between day 20 and day 30 is you're going to be negotiating with people. And I'm not necessarily talking about just negotiating on price, but I'm talking about, having conversations, talking about the pricing and the packages of your service. And they're going to be going, oh, I don't want that, but I want that. This not ongoing conversations and negotiations will be happening guaranteed. You're also going to be taking sales calls. You're going to start to take sales calls between day 20 and day 30 as a result of the audits, because you're going to give away free audits. People are then going to come back and say, cool, I'll take an audit. You're going to say, cool, if I can find 10 things wrong about your website, let's jump on a call, let's discuss them. They're going to say yes. You're then going to have these calls. And these are masked sales calls. They are sales calls, but without the clear intention of being sold. Because if you can give someone 10 different ways that they can improve what they're currently doing, the natural next step for them would be to buy your service, right? It would be to take the 11th step and actually work with you full time. So typically those calls, those kind of like audit delivery calls, will be sales calls, which means that between day 20 and 30, you need to actually learn sales. You need to learn how to sell your service to someone, how to actually hold a conversation, control a call, deliver a pitch, and all this kind of stuff, which means you need to learn the sales framework. Now, up on screen, I'm going to pop a framework that you can actually use for sales, a very, very basic, very simple one, but nonetheless, it's a very, very good and effective one. And people that I teach this framework to says it changes their game completely, in terms of how they can hold a conversation, how they are in control of the call and all this kind of stuff, and not actually closing the call, actually taking payment and all this kind of stuff, which is incredibly helpful. But this will take a bit of time. I would recommend that between day 20 and 30, you are practicing sales, whether you've got friends you can practice with, whether you're literally talking to a mirror. I also think there's a few AI tools out there at the moment where you can kind of like practice with someone. I think actually, if you ask ChatGPT to pretend to be a prospect and you try and sell to them, you can literally practice your sales, and you can be like, ChatGPT, give me a bunch of objections, give me a reason why, you don't want to work with me, and you can start to handle those objections. So practice sales, okay? You want to get confident, you want to be competent when you do jump on a call with someone that you can actually deliver your pitch and you can hold control of the conversation, and obviously you don't get lost. That framework will help you do just that. In the meantime, between day 20 and 30, you want to start to build out your service delivery. And this is essentially the process of how you can actually take someone from A to Z, how you're actually going to take them from where they are to where they want to be and actually deliver your services and actually deliver the result, okay? Service delivery is pretty simple. You just want to lay it out as clear as possible. Cool. Let's say for you that you signed a client tomorrow. Brand new client tomorrow, they want to work with you. What is the exact step you need to take them through to get them from where they are to the next step? Probably be some kind of onboarding call, some kind of strategy call, right? And what's the next step? And the next, all the way to the point of where you deliver the service. You want to build that out. You want that to be crystal clear and leave no room for confusion or hesitation. You also want to start to build out the onboarding, right? Because between day 20 and day 30 is when you're going to start to sign your first client, probably towards the end of day 30, which means you want to have an onboarding set out that you can actually put them through to get them onboarded, get the information that you need, and actually get them into your systems, depending on what that is. If you're doing email marketings, you're going to need their logins, you're going to need their information, you're going to need previous emails they've sent out. If you're doing their website, you're going to need logins, you're going to need information about their business, all this kind of stuff, right? So you want to build out your onboarding process so that when you actually sign a client, you can put them straight into that process and you can actually help them deliver the result. And then towards the end of day 20 to 30, that is when you will start to sign first client. That's when conversations will be had, negotiations will complete, audits will be delivered, sales calls will be had, and you'll actually sign the client. That is it. That is the super simple. So it sounds super simple. It's pretty complicated when you get into it, but the game plan of how you're going to actually turn yourself into a business in 30 days or less. Okay. And just to summarize, day 1 to 5 is spent learning your skill, your market, your offer, and your pricing, and building all of that out. Day 5 to 10 is spent creating content, setting up your lead generation systems, building a website, and starting outreach. Day 20 to 30 is spent doing outreach, posting content, building omnipresence, creating your audit offer, and actually giving your audit offer out. And day 20 to 30 is spent doing more outreach, posting more DMs, having ongoing conversations, completing audits, negotiating with people, doing sales calls, learning the sales framework, building out your service delivery, and actually building out your onboarding and signing clients. That is it, ladies and gents. Like that is it. It almost sounds too simple to be true, but if you will do that, if you could do that, then do it. Because I promise you, even if you don't sign your first client in 30 days, I guarantee you'll get there in day 35, day 40. This is kind of like a speed run process that you can use to get from where you are to that first client as quickly as possible. And if you want to learn how I would do this with you personally, one-to-one with your own skill, with your own unique skill set and your past experience, click the link down below in the description, and I hope you get started. Simple as that. And also DM me on Instagram if you want that free AI tool, and help you identify your skill and market and so on and so forth. So click the link down below. I promise I can help you out. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.